Hello, hello. It's Deborah Razzo here from the Women's Real Estate Network, and I am here with a fellow investor, Catherine Morea. Hello, Catherine.
Hello, Deb. How are you?
I'm great. Look at you. You've got your shoulders exposed. You're obviously in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, baby, where the sun is always shining and whether it's never below 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh my gosh, right? And I'm sitting here in my sweater. I can't wait to get to Puerto Rico later this month, and feel that warm tropical
Go to the beach and get in the beautiful, clear aqua water.
yeah.
Your toes in the
And
sand.
the tropical breezes. I love it. You know,
Yes.
we're here because we are going to be together in Puerto Rico later this month for the Puerto Rico Real Estate Mastermind event. It's January 23rd through the 26th. Now, I am the founder of WREN, and Catherine is the founder of Rico. And we have another partner of ours that joined us, and that is OZ Works. And between the three of us, we're putting on this event together. We're doing it for a lot of reasons. One is that there's a lot of transition happening in real estate in the States, and it's different in different areas. I think that you're pretty much solely invested in Puerto Rico now, right?
The bulk of my stuff. I still have a few things in different states. Nothing in California anymore, which is where I'm
Right.
from. I went pretty much all in on Puerto Rico, which has different economical factors that
Right.
affect it.
And it's interesting because I'm invested all over the States as well as in Puerto Rico. And it's really interesting to see different areas because, what they say, real estate's local, right? And different areas have fallen more drastically than some other areas. And one of the things that I like about Puerto Rico is that we can hedge our bets in Puerto Rico because some of the tax incentives there. Right. Even if there was things happening there that, we have there's a tax incentive program that can offset any kind of, fall that we might have. Not that there's a fall happening there.
Right. Well, there's a couple things. In Puerto Rico, 98% of the island is opportunity zone. So what that means is if you have capital gains from another investment, from real estate or business, for some reason you have capital gains, good for you. Now, do you want all that money to go to the IRS? Well, one of the ways that we defer that in real estate is using a 1031 exchange. And the other way that people are doing since the end of 2017, when the Jobs and Tax Act was passed, is by using opportunity zones. And you can defer your tax for up to 5 years, or actually for 5 years. But the great thing about opportunity zones is you can actually take your depreciation and you don't have to recapture it. And all of your gain on the upside is tax-free. And so the thing is investing in real estate in opportunity zones is really tricky because they tend to be on the wrong side of the tracks, if you will. They're for economically disadvantaged areas.
Right.
And yet in Puerto Rico, 98% of the island is opportunity zone. And that means you can get beachfront, oceanfront properties that are in opportunity zones.
Right.
And so that's one of the tax advantages. And another tax advantage that many people don't know about is there's something called a tourism tax credit. If you create a tourist type project, let's say a boutique hotel, a guest house, a regular size hotel, depending on how many rooms, you can get 40% of your investment back from the government of Puerto Rico in the form of tax credits, Puerto Rican tax credits.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Like, even if you say you're in a market like, I'm just going to name one, Austin. Say you're in a market like Austin that has dropped dramatically in the past year, super dramatic in the past year. Puerto Rico has some stability, and then it's offset by 40% back in tax credits. So if you're interested in running some kind of tourism activity, whether it be guest houses and, large boutique Airbnbs, that's basically what they're talking about. You can get 40% of your purchase price, your rehab costs, and your first year of operating expenses back to you, years 3, 4, and 5. Now, I think for a lot of investors, that is remarkable, right?
Well, and I don't know if people, when they first hear tax credit, they're like, well, maybe my tax bill isn't that big. How does that help me? But here's the thing, those tax credits, you can sell them for approximately 85 to 93 cents on the dollar. That's cash back in your pocket as an investor. So, if you're buying let's say $1 million building and you're putting, 40%, and then 90% of the 40%, let's say it's $375,000 back in your pocket over a 3-4 year period. That's mind-boggling. And let me just back it up and explain to people that in Puerto Rico, they've been a manufacturing and pharmaceutical hub for decades. And the government of Puerto Rico has decided they want to up their tourism game. Now, in the Caribbean, 15% of GDP is the average for the Caribbean for for tourism. But in Puerto Rico, it's only 6.7 or 6.8% of their GDP. So they have a lot of room to grow in taking advantage of the beautiful snorkeling and the rainforest and the bioluminescent bays and all the wonderful natural
it has so many naturally beautiful things that people don't know about.
Yes, and it's America, right? It is a territory of the United States.
Yeah. You don't need a passport. You don't need to change currency. You're here.
It's US dollar, and it's governed by US laws. So we have the US military here. So it's foreign and not foreign at the same time. But there are advantages here that I have not seen in Utah, Tennessee, Texas, other places that I've invested in because of the desire to up the tourism and because of, certain things that have happened like Hurricane Maria and having FEMA money come in and having this opportunity zoning. Okay, you want to see my cat? Because my cat decided he wanted to be up here in the call. So out of the way, he's just like in my face here.
Right. A lot of people bringing that up. Isn't Puerto Rico that place where there's hurricanes? It's like, I think that, Puerto Rico gets a bad rap in the sense that, it does hit parts of the island and parts of the people do suffer, but it's not like the whole island is destroyed. And after that happens, FEMA money comes in and helps restore. And and that's the wonderful thing about, how we help each other in the States, right? It's territory. It's not a state yet, but,
Well, unfortunately there's weather, right? And there's, in California, there's earthquakes. In Florida, there's hurricanes as well. In the Midwest, there's, tornadoes, the belt in the middle, sort of, the Kansas, and, we deal with that. We get insurance. We take precautions. We build accordingly. A lot of the housing that was destroyed in Hurricane Maria's and Irma, the two hurricanes which hit back to back in 2017, they're called informal construction, and they actually weren't built to the current codes. They were, older properties built, without permits. The properties that are actually built with permits by and large did okay during the hurricanes. And we had another hurricane a couple months ago, Fiona, and while it did do some damage in some areas from the rain, where I am in San Juan, we went virtually unscathed. So,
and here's the thing: if you don't believe us, come to Puerto Rico and see for yourself, because not only are we in classroom day 1 and day 3, but we are out on the island day 2. On day 2, we take a bus tour of Puerto Rico and we go around to different properties on the island. That is one of the things that I think is really unique that sets us apart. It's that and being around so many like-minded individuals, right? Because we are in a classroom with individuals who are very interested in finding out the tax incentives, seeing how they can, figuring out ways to be able to make money and, also go forward for Puerto Rico itself, as well as, being able to tour the lovely island. In fact, why don't you tell us about where we're stopping this time?
Yes. So we mix it. We've done 4 bus tours, 4 in-person events that bring people out to different projects so that you can actually see what people are doing, right? Because when I moved to Puerto Rico and I did real estate before, I wanted to go see what the local investors were doing in Puerto Rico, to learn the numbers, to learn what their challenges were, to see, what kind of product they were putting out. And so this is kind of like what I would have done if someone had put it together for me. This is the thing I would have chosen to spend a couple days doing, right? So I just sort of did it here and there, but this is what we're curating and putting together for other people like us who want to see what the opportunities are. We are going to a town called Canovanas, which is the next town over from San Juan. We're going to Luquilla, which is a beach and surfer town. And we're going to Naguabo, which has some beautiful, beautiful beaches. We're going to Humacao. We're going to Palmas, which is the biggest, I believe, the biggest gated community on the island. And we're going to Caguas. And we're going to get to see small projects, just like a fix and flip. We're going to see land development. We're going to see a house. We're going to see a small guest house.
I love that. Okay, that's one of the other things I really love about this event is that it's not just single family. It's not just commercial. It's not just, it is a wide spectrum because we have a wide spectrum of investors that come over and want to learn all the details of, these things. And I don't know about you, but I love walking properties and hearing the story. Like, how did they get it? How did they finance it? What are they doing to it? How much is it earning now? Like, I love those stories, and I'll be the first one around the people that are touring us, going, okay, how much did this cost?
Yes, and to have operators who are there present with you, saying, well, let me tell you, this took longer than I thought, or here was the challenge that we had, we did get permits and this is how we did it. Don't you want to know that stuff before you invest? Don't you want to ask the people who are actually doing it? It's one thing to go to, something that's all packaged and designed, and here's your nice glossy brochure, and this is the return on your investment that we're expecting. And that's great too, but it's nice to, some people want to do fix and flip. They just want to do it in a different market. And some people want a more passive investment. Well, this gives you kind of an idea across the market of what different people are doing here. And then I want to say one thing that's really exciting, we've never done this before, is that one of the attendees on the last bus tour and mastermind actually invested in one of the projects we are going to highlight that's currently under construction.
Right. I love that. It's like, okay, somebody who just came in looking is actually buying, and now they're being represented on the bus tour themselves, so they can tell their story as well.
Yes. So that's a success story, and a success story in the making. And the other thing I want to point out, like-minded people, right? So you're going to be there with other motivated, intelligent, like-minded people. We have had people at the very first bus tour that got together and created a partnership and did a deal together. We had people on the last bus tour that got together and created some sort of partnership. It wasn't something we facilitated. Right. It just happens organically because you're sitting next to someone on the bus, you share common things about real estate, and you end up going and doing a project together. And I think that's a wonderful, organic thing that just happens when you put all these brilliant people together in one room. So
it is. It's wonderful. It's organic. And here is one of the down parts. We're on a bus. We have limited seating. People. So, and the fact of the matter is we're almost full. So if you're interested in this opportunity to come to Puerto Rico, January 23rd through the 26th, go to renpuertorico.com, or we'll put the link in the chat below because it's time to buy. We're just over 2 weeks out. You got to pack your bags soon. Join us. And there's not a lot of seats left.
Yeah, there's only about 45 seats total. Most of those have been sold. If you are thinking about doing this, we'd hate to have to turn people away because we don't have enough seats on the bus. We've got a beautiful penthouse in the Condado Palm on days 1 and 3. We're going to have a cocktail party when we arrive. We're going to have breakfast, lunch, and snacks on all the days. And then on days 1, 2, and 3, on day 4, you have a little bit of free time. And then we have REN, which is the Real Estate Investor Association of Puerto Rico, at night. So you can really mingle with other local investors, meet even more people, and understand the local market even better. And
oh, wait a minute. I forgot to mention the hotel that we're having this at, yes, it's a block from the beach. Yeah. So, when we get
It's,
out in the
it's
evening,
the Condado Palm.
beach
The
walk.
penthouse of the Condado Palm is where we're having our event. It's an ocean view room. The weather is amazing this time of year. Oh, and by the way, when you book your tickets, give yourself a day or two in advance or 3, because the Festival de San Sebastian, the biggest festival in Puerto Rico, is back on this year after 2 years of not having the festival because of COVID. And that is the weekend immediately prior to our event. So if you want to come to the festival, come a couple days early, but get the rooms, because when the room block is gone, they're gone. It is high season here. We've got a room block at $209 a night. Which is more expensive than we had last time, but this is when everyone's coming to Puerto Rico, for the festival and to get away from the cold in the mainland and have a beautiful Caribbean beach vacation.
Yes. Well, I can't wait to see you there. I'm flying out soon, and we all hope that you will see us there as well.
Yes. Thank you for hosting me, Deb, and I hope to meet new people and see you soon in Puerto Rico.
Click the link below, find out more, people. Thanks, Catherine.